It was New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2025, in the heart of Seoul, a city alive with the electric hum of celebration. Fireworks painted the sky in bursts of crimson and gold, laughter echoed from crowded streets, and the crisp winter air carried the scent of street food vendors hawking hot tteokbokki and mulled wine. But for Aisha Thompson, a vibrant 28-year-old black woman from the bustling streets of Chicago, this night was a descent into despair. She had moved to Korea 3 years ago, chasing love and adventure with her husband, Marcus Thompson, an American expat who worked in tech. What started as a fairy tale had twisted into a nightmare of emotional and physical abuse, layered with the nuances of cultural isolation. As a foreigner, Aisha often felt like an outsider, her dark skin drawing curious stares, her American accent marking her as different. Marcus exploited that, controlling her social circle, her job as a graphic designer, even her wardrobe, all under the guise of protecting her in a new country. The implications of this control were profound. It eroded her confidence, made her question her own perceptions, and trapped her in a cycle where leaving seemed impossible due to financial dependence and the fear of navigating Korea's legal system as an immigrant. Edge cases in her mind included the rare moments of tenderness from Marcus that kept her hoping, or the cultural expectation in some Korean circles that marital issues remained private, which only amplified her silence. She had confided in a few expat friends over coffee meetups, sharing fragments of her pain, but fear of judgment or escalation kept her from full disclosure. The broader context of domestic violence among international couples in Korea added layers. Statistics whispered in support groups about underreporting, language barriers hindering help, and the slow grind of bureaucracy for visas and divorce. The evening had begun with promise. A glamorous New Year's party at Marcus's company headquarters in Gangnam, where suits mingled with sequin dresses under chandeliers. Aisha had dressed in a sleek red gown that hugged her curves, her natural curls cascading freely for once. But Marcus's jealousy simmered from the start. He watched her like a hawk as she chatted with colleagues, his grip on her arm tightening with every laugh she shared. The nuances of the party environment added to the tension. The polite Korean bows and formal greetings contrasted with Marcus's whispered threats in her ear, reminding her of her place. Implications for Aisha were clear. This wasn't just a social event. It was a minefield where one wrong smile could ignite his rage later. She navigated conversations carefully, discussing design projects with Korean coworkers, feeling the subtle cultural clashes in communication styles, indirect politeness clashing with her direct American flair. By the time they returned to their high-rise apartment overlooking the Han River, the tension exploded. Marcus, reeking of whiskey and resentment, cornered her in the living room. The floor-to-ceiling windows framed the city's glittering skyline, a stark contrast to the darkness unfolding inside. The room itself was a testament to their fractured life. Minimalist Korean decor mixed with American knickknacks, symbolizing the cultural clash that mirrored their relationship. Scattered photos from happier times mocked her now, wedding shots from Chicago, vacations in Jeju before the darkness set in. His words carried the weight of repeated accusations, each one chipping away at her self-worth, gaslighting her into doubting her innocence. Aisha backed away, her heart pounding. "Marcus, what are you talking about? I was just talking to your boss about work. You're being paranoid again." She tried to infuse calmness into her tone, drawing from therapy sessions she'd attended secretly online. But the fear was palpable, her body remembering past bruises. "Paranoid." He laughed, a bitter, hollow sound that sent chills down her spine. "You think I don't see how you flaunt yourself? Coming here to Korea, acting like some queen. Who do you think you are? I brought you here. I pay for everything. This apartment, your clothes, your life." His rant escalated, touching on every insecurity he'd planted. Her race, her background, her dependence on him, weaving in racial microaggressions he'd denied before. She tried to de-escalate, her voice steady despite the fear. "Please, it's New Year's Eve. Let's not do this tonight. We can talk tomorrow." Her plea was rooted in exhaustion, knowing the cycle all too well: rage, remorse, repeat, and the edge case of holidays amplifying volatility. But Marcus was beyond reason. He grabbed her arm, yanking her close, his breath hot on her face. "Talk. I'm done talking. You're ungrateful, always complaining. Get out. Go see how the world treats a black girl like you alone in Seoul. No money, no friends. Good luck." His words were laced with racial undertones, a weapon he'd wielded before to isolate her further, implying the city's perceived xenophobia would punish her. He shoved her toward the door, her heel catching on the rug, nearly sending her sprawling. Tears welled up, but she blinked them back, refusing to give him the satisfaction. "Fine, Marcus. If that's what you want, I'm gone. But don't expect me to come crawling back this time." Her defiance was a spark of the woman she used to be, before the abuse dimmed her light, considering implications like divorce proceedings or fleeing the country. "Like I'd want you back," he sneered, slamming the door behind her. The lock clicked, final and echoing in the hallway. Aisha stood there for a moment, stunned, the cold from the unheated corridor seeping through her thin gown. She had no coat. Marcus had forgotten to bring it from the party. No phone, no wallet. Just her, alone in a foreign city on the coldest night of the year. The nuances of this moment were overwhelming. The immediate danger of hypothermia, the long-term implications of homelessness in a city where support for abused expat women was limited, and edge cases like whether her work visa would hold without Marcus's sponsorship. She descended the stairs slowly, each step echoing her resolve and terror. She wandered the streets, the implications of her situation crashing over her like waves. What now? Shelters in Seoul were scarce for non-Koreans, and her limited Korean made calling for help daunting. Edge cases raced through her mind. What if Marcus changed the locks? What if he reported her as missing to manipulate her return? The cultural nuances amplified her isolation. Korea's emphasis on family harmony often meant domestic issues were handled privately, and as a black woman, she worried about biases in the system. The fireworks boomed at midnight, crowds cheering Sihi Bak Mani Baduzio. Happy New Year, but Aisha felt only numbness. Her feet ached in her heels, the snow flurries turning to a light dusting that chilled her to the bone. Hours blurred as she moved from Gangnam's polished avenues to the more eclectic alleys of Itaewon, where expats and locals blended in a haze of neon signs and bar music. She passed groups of revelers, their joy a painful reminder of her solitude, and considered the broader implications. How abuse thrives in isolation, how cultural displacement exacerbates vulnerability. She ducked into a 24-hour convenience store for momentary warmth, buying nothing but lingering near the heaters, the clerk's curious glance adding to her paranoia. Exhaustion set in around 2 a.m., her body shivering uncontrollably, teeth chattering. She leaned against a lamppost, considering knocking on a stranger's door or finding a 24-hour cafe. That's when a sleek black Mercedes pulled up curbside, its engine purring like a predator in the night. The back door opened, and a man emerged, tall, broad-shouldered, clad in a custom black suit that screamed power. His face was chiseled, with sharp jawline and piercing dark eyes that scanned the alley with habitual caution. This was Lee Ji-hoon, 35, the enigmatic boss of the Shadow Syndicate, one of Seoul's most formidable mafia organizations. On the surface, he ran legitimate enterprises, upscale nightclubs, real estate developments, even a chain of fusion restaurants. But beneath lay a web of underground dealings, protection rackets, smuggling high-end goods, and enforcing loyalty with an iron fist. Tonight, he was wrapping up a late-night meeting with associates, but something about the woman in the red gown, shivering yet defiant, stopped him cold. The nuances of his life added depth. A man who rose from humble beginnings in Busan, orphan young, building an empire through sheer will, but haunted by the moral gray areas of his choices, trusting few in a world of betrayals. "Miss?" Ji-hoon's voice cut through the wind, smooth English with a Korean lilt, laced with genuine concern. He approached slowly, hands out to show he meant no harm. "Are you okay? It's dangerous out here this late, and you're freezing." His offer was unusual for him, a man who trusted few, but her resilience reminded him of his late mother, who had endured hardships, and the edge case of New Year's vulnerability in his city. Aisha looked up, her guard up, but her options limited. "I'm managing. Just need to find somewhere warm." She weighed the edge cases. Accepting help from a stranger could lead to danger, but refusing might mean freezing to death, implications of survival overriding caution. He nodded, glancing at his driver, Park Min-jun, a burly man with a scar across his cheek, who waited stoically behind the wheel. My name's Lee Ji-hoon. Let me help. My car's heated. I'll give you a ride. Where to? His tone was commanding yet kind, a balance honed from years of leadership in volatile circles. She hesitated, weighing the risks. A handsome stranger in an expensive car? In Chicago, she'd walk away. But here, in the cold, with no alternatives? I don't have a place right now, she admitted, her voice small. The implication was clear. She was homeless for the night, vulnerable in every way. Ji-hoon's expression softened, a rare crack in his armored facade. He'd seen too much suffering in his line of work. Victims of rival gangs, betrayed lovers. But this woman radiated strength amid vulnerability. Then come with me. I have a safe spot. No expectations, just warmth and rest. He opened the door wider, gesturing invitingly, considering his own code against harming innocence. Against her better judgment, Aisha nodded. She slid into the back seat, the leather warm and inviting. Ji-hoon joined her, closing the door with a soft click. Drive us home, Min-jun, he instructed in Korean, then switched to English for her. The car pulled away smoothly, the city's lights streaking past like shooting stars. The interior was luxurious, with subtle scents of leather and cologne, a stark contrast to her chaotic night, nuances of luxury hinting at his power. As they cruised through the quieting streets, the heater blasting blessed warmth, Aisha felt her defenses lower. Ji-hoon sat respectfully distant, offering a blanket from the console. Better? He asked, his eyes meeting hers in the dim light, building subtle connection. Much. Thank you really. I'm Aisha. Aisha Thompson. She extended a hand, a small act of trust, exploring the implications of this encounter. Ji-hoon. Pleasure, Aisha. He shook it gently, his touch firm but reassuring. If you don't mind me asking what happened. You look like you've been through hell. His question was probing but not invasive, drawing from his experience reading people in high-stakes negotiations. The question hung in the air, and in the anonymity of the moving car, Aisha poured out her soul. It's my husband, Marcus. We met in college back in the States. He was charming, ambitious. We moved here for his job, but things changed. He started controlling everything, who I talk to, where I go. Then the yelling, the pushing. Tonight, he accused me of cheating at a party, kicked me out without my things. He's hit me before, left bruises I hide with makeup. Says it's my fault for provoking him. I've thought about leaving, but in Korea, it's hard. No family here, language barriers. And he always apologizes, promises it'll get better. She detailed the patterns, the gaslighting, the financial control, the isolation from her Chicago roots, exploring the psychological nuances of abuse and its cultural amplifications, examples of incidents over months. Ji-hoon listened intently, his face a mask, but inside, rage boiled. In the Mafia world, honor meant protecting the weak, not preying on them. That's not love, Aisha. That's cowardice. No real man raises a hand to a woman. You've been strong to endure it this long. His words carried weight, drawn from his own code of ethics, flawed as it was, implications of his reaction foreshadowing action. She wiped her eyes. Strong? I feel broken. The cultural stuff makes it worse. People assume I'm the exotic wife, but behind closed doors, she delved into examples. Stares in the subway, assumptions at work, how Marcus used them to belittle her. I understand more than you know, Ji-hoon replied softly. Seoul can be unforgiving to outsiders. But you're not alone now. He shared a bit about his own struggles rising in a hierarchical society, building rapport, nuances of shared outsider feelings despite his power. They arrived at his sprawling penthouse in a fortified tower in Yongsan, overlooking the river's dark waters. Security nodded as they entered the elevator, rising to the top floor. The space was minimalist luxury, marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows, subtle art pieces hinting at his wealth. Ji-hoon showed her to a guest suite, complete with a king bed, ensuite bath, and fresh clothes. Sleep. We'll figure things out tomorrow. Good night, Aisha. He lingered at the door, ensuring she felt safe, a gentle touch on her shoulder. Thank you, Ji-hoon. For everything, she said, her voice cracking with gratitude. As she settled in, she reflected on the night's turn, the implications of trusting this stranger, edge cases of danger versus salvation. As she drifted into exhausted sleep, Ji-hoon retreated to his study, pouring a scotch. Her story gnawed at him. The nuances of abuse, the implications for someone like her in his city. He pondered the edge cases. What if Marcus came looking? By dawn, his decision was made. He couldn't let Marcus walk free. January 1st, 2026, brought a fresh snowfall, blanketing Seoul in white. Aisha woke to the smell of coffee and kimchi jjigae, prepared by Ji-hoon's discreet staff. He joined her for breakfast on the terrace, the city sparkling below. They talked for hours, her dreams of art, his vision for his businesses, exploring shared interests in cultural fusion, laughing over stories from their pasts. "You look rested," he noted, smiling faintly, admiring her resilience. "I am. This place is incredible. What do you do if you don't mind?" She probed gently, curious about his world. He hesitated, then opted for partial truth. "Business. Clubs, properties. Keeps me busy." He described surface-level operations, omitting the underworld, building trust gradually. Their conversation flowed, about her art, his travels, but Ji-hoon excused himself mid-morning. "I have something to handle. Stay as long as you need." He kissed her forehead lightly, a gesture that surprised them both, implications of growing affection. In reality, he rallied his inner circle. Kang Tae-woo, his right-hand enforcer, a tattooed giant with a soft spot for justice, and Choi Hyun-sik, the tech whiz who hacked systems like Child's Play. They met in the Syndicate's underground lair, a high-tech basement beneath one of his clubs, filled with monitors and weapons caches. "Boss, what's the play?" Tae-woo asked, cracking his knuckles, ready for action. "Find Marcus Thompson. American, Gangnam address. Aisha's husband, abusive scum. Track him, corner him, make him pay. No kill, just terror and pain. Break bones if needed." Ji-hoon detailed the plan, emphasizing restraint to avoid escalation, considering rival gang repercussions. Hyun-sik pulled up Marcus's digital footprint on his laptop. "Got him. Social media check-ins at a bar in Itaewon. Idiots posting hangover selfies." He hacked deeper, pulling bank records and emails, revealing Marcus's own shady dealings, embezzlement at work, adding layers to his character. Ji-hoon nodded. "Go. Report back." As they left, he contemplated the implications. This act could draw attention, but justice demanded it. The takedown was swift. Marcus, nursing a beer at a dimly lit pub, didn't see them coming. Tae-woo and Hyun-sik flanked him, dragging him to an alley. The scene unfolded with precision, shadows from neon signs casting eerie glows, the distant hum of city life masking his cries. "Who are you freaks?" Marcus yelped, struggling futilely, his bravado crumbling. "Friends of your wife," Tae-woo growled. "You like hitting women? Let's see how you handle real pain." The beating was methodical, punches to the gut, a knee to the ribs, the snap of his arm echoing. Marcus screamed, begging, "Stop. I'll leave her alone. Please." Snot and blood mixed on his face, his arrogance shattered. Hyun-sik leaned in. "You touch her again. We finish this. Disappear or die." They left him crumpled, alive but shattered, contemplating his life choices. That evening, Ji-hoon returned, a faint bruise on his hand from supervising. Aisha met him at the door, worried. "You were gone all day? Everything okay?" She searched his face, sensing something amiss. He sat her down, voice calm. "I dealt with Marcus. My men found him, taught him a lesson. He won't hurt you, or anyone, again." He described it vaguely, protecting her from details. Her eyes widened in shock. Then relief flooded her. "You what?" "Ji-hoon, that's dangerous. But thank you. No one's ever protected me like that." Gratitude turned to admiration, the nuances of his actions making him heroic in her eyes. In that vulnerability, attraction ignited. She leaned in, their lips meeting in a tentative kiss that deepened with pent-up emotion. They explored each other slowly, the kiss evolving into a passionate embrace on the couch. Clothes shedding as trust built, discovering each other's bodies with tenderness and fire. Clothes shedding as trust built, discovering each other's bodies with tenderness and fire. "Don't go back," Ji-hoon whispered, his hands gentle on her skin. "Stay? Build with me. My empire needs someone like you, smart, resilient. We can make it greater, legitimate paths too." He painted a picture of partnership, blending their worlds. The implications thrilled her. Power, love, but also risk. Edge cases loomed. Mafia life meant enemies, secrets. Yet, she agreed. Yes, let's build it together. Their night turned intimate. Bodies connecting in a dance of discovery, exploring every nuance of desire, whispering promises into the dawn. Months blurred into a passionate whirlwind. Aisha immersed herself in Ji-hoon's world, her design skills revamping his clubs into cultural hotspots, fusing Korean Hanok elements with Afro-American vibes, jazz nights, soul food pop-ups. They traveled, Jeju Island getaways where they hiked volcanic trails and shared sunset confessions, Tokyo business trips negotiating deals with Yakuza allies, each adventure deepening their bond. Intimacy grew, stolen moments in his office, nights tangled in sheets, conversations about dreams and fears. One evening, after sealing a major deal on a new property development, Ji-hoon pulled her close in his study, the city lights twinkling below. Aisha, you've changed everything. I love you. His declaration was raw, vulnerable for a man used to control. I love you too, she replied, their bodies merging in fervent passion, forgetting the world. They explored new depths, lazy mornings in bed discussing expansion plans, evenings cooking fusion meals, bulgogi tacos, laughing over mishaps. Aisha's influence legitimized parts of his empire, attracting diverse investors, while Ji-hoon empowered her, funding her art studio. But shadows lingered. The Mafia's underbelly required dirty work, like dealing with rivals, which Ji-hoon shielded her from, creating subtle tensions. But they overlooked Marcus. Recovering in a hospital, seething with rage, he filed a report. Those thugs assaulted me, connected to my wife. She's with some Mafia guy, Lee Ji-hoon. His testimony was detailed, exaggerating for sympathy, implicating the syndicate in attempted homicide. Detective Han Soo-min, a no-nonsense veteran with years chasing organized crime, teamed with expat specialist Detective Kim Ji-hoon, a sharp bilingual officer familiar with cross-cultural cases. They visited Marcus in his hospital room, the sterile beeps of machines underscoring the gravity. Mr. Thompson, Soo-min began, notebook in hand, her tone firm but empathetic. We're here about your assault report. You mentioned gang violence, abusive elements in your marriage, and attempted homicide. Walk us through it again. Marcus, arm in a cast, eyes darting nervously, leaned forward. Yeah, those guys jumped me, broke my arm, cracked ribs. Said they were friends of Aisha, my wife. She's run off with this Lee Ji-hoon character. He's a mafia boss, I swear. They tried to kill me for what happened in our marriage. I wasn't perfect, okay? We fought. Things got physical sometimes, but she provoked it. Now they're coming after me. I'll testify to anything. Abuse, gang stuff, homicide attempt, if you protect me. Ji-hoon exchanged glances with Soo-min. Abuse? You admit to hitting her. She probed, noting the nuances of his confession, implications for flipping him as a witness. Marcus nodded, playing the victim. It was mutual, but yeah, give me immunity or something, and I'll spill everything on Ji-hoon. His empire, the violence, he's dangerous. The detectives nodded. We'll consider it. Stay put. We'll be in touch. Outside, Soo-min said, he's unreliable, but useful. Links domestic abuse to gang violence. Attempted homicide charge could stick if we corroborate. This links to the Shadow Syndicate, Ji-hoon agreed. Assault, possible kidnapping. We take them down. They built the case meticulously, gathering evidence. Hospital records, alley CCTV snippets, informant tips on Ji-hoon's operations. Meanwhile, Aisha embraced her new life. One crisp spring morning, 6 months into her relationship with Ji-hoon, she went for a jog in Hangang Park, the river sparkling under the sun. Flanked discreetly by her Korean security detail, 2 stoic men, Seo Jin-woo and Lim Dae-hyun, positioned on the sidelines, blending with joggers. She ran freely, earbuds in, music pumping. The park was alive, families picnicking, cyclists whizzing by, cherry blossoms scattering like confetti. It symbolized her rebirth, freedom from abuse, empowerment in her role. But the detectives had been watching. Soo-min and Ji-hoon, with 2 plainclothes officers, approached subtly, circling her path to isolate her from the guards. As Aisha slowed near a bench, they closed in, badges flashing discreetly. Miss Thompson? Aisha, Sumin said, voice authoritative yet calm. Seoul police. We need a word. Alone. Aisha froze, pulling out her earbuds, glancing at her bodyguards who tensed but held back at a signal from the officers. What's this about? Her heart raced, nuances of fear resurfacing. Police in Korea, as a black woman, carried implications of bias. Ji-yoon stepped forward, leading her gently but firmly away from the guard's line of sight, toward a secluded path. Your husband, Marcus. He filed charges, assault by Lee Ji-hoon's men. We know you're with him now. The syndicates involved in gang violence, attempted homicide on Marcus. Aisha's eyes widened. That's not. I left Marcus because he abused me. Ji-hoon helped me. Sumin leaned in. We believe you about the abuse. Marcus admitted some, but he's testifying against Ji-hoon. You could too. Turn on him. Give us details on his operations. We can protect you, get you immunity, a fresh start. He's a mafia boss, your accessory now. Don't take the fall for his crimes. Ji-hoon added softly, think about it. Abuse survivor to empire builder? But legacies like his crumble, and you'll go down with him. Help us bring him in, for abusive patterns, violence, everything. Aisha shook her head, conflicted. I can't. He saved me. But seeds of doubt planted, the implications of betrayal, edge cases of her own liability. The detectives pressed. You have 24 hours. Contact us. They slipped her a card and vanished, leaving her shaken. Her guards rushed over. Ma'am, are you okay? I'm fine, she lied. But the encounter lingered, haunting her run home. Back at the penthouse that evening, Aisha burst in, finding Ji-hoon in his study. Ji-hoon, the police approached me today during my jog in the park. They circled me, pulled me away from the guards. Said Marcus is testifying about the assault, abuse, attempted homicide. They want me to turn on you. Give up details on your business for immunity. Ji-hoon looked up calmly, setting down his drink. I know. My security reported it immediately. The guards saw everything, informed me right after. Aisha's eyes widened in surprise and hurt. You knew? And you didn't say anything? What? He stood, his expression hardening. Because I needed to see what you'd do. Did you sell me out, Aisha? Tell them anything? No. Of course not, she protested, voice rising. How could you even think that? They pressured me, but I said nothing. I told them I can't betray you. You saved me. Ji-hoon paced, distrust flickering in his eyes. In my world, people flip fast when cornered. Pressure from police, promises of freedom. I've seen loyalty shatter, even from those closest. That's not fair, Aisha argued, tears building. I've been loyal, helped build your clubs, stood by you through everything. After Marcus, I thought you trusted me. I want to, he admitted, voice low. But I can't take that risk. I trust no one, Aisha, not fully. Not even the ones I love. My empire, it's all I've got. Built from nothing. One weak link, and it falls. The argument escalated, voices echoing in the vast room. Her pleading for belief, him retreating into paranoia, honed from years of betrayals. If they got to you once, they'll try again. And if you crack, I won't, she insisted, but doubt crept in. Suddenly, sirens wailed outside, growing louder, police vehicles converging. Red and blue lights flashed through the windows. Ji-hoon's face turned stone cold. They're here. Raid. Aisha panicked. What do we do? He grabbed a hidden bag, moving toward a secret panel. I can't go down. Not for this. Pausing, he looked at her one last time. I'm sorry, Aisha, but the legacy comes first. I've transferred the unclean money, offshore accounts, cash stashes, and the drugs from recent shipments, all in your name now. Paper trails lead to you. You'll take the fall. It buys me time to vanish, rebuild. Her world shattered. You do this to me? After everything. I have no choice, he said coldly, slipping through the exit. Goodbye, as the door pounded. Police. Open up. Aisha stood alone, sirens blaring, realizing the ultimate betrayal. The man who saved her had doomed her, leaving her to face the storm. And as officers burst in, guns drawn, shouting commands, Aisha raised her hands, tears streaming, the empire's shadows swallowing her whole. Phew, that betrayal hits hard, doesn't it? If this story had you on the edge, gasping at every twist, then you need more Soul Mafia love in your life. Drop a like if you're Team Aisha, comment your favorite moment or what you think happens next, Subscribe and hit that bell for the next heart-racing episode, because the drama's just getting started. Share this with someone who lives for forbidden romance and dangerous love. You won't regret it. See you in the next one.